Hey Ron, how's it going, buddy? Debbie, how are you? Deb, thank you for helping out last week. Heard nothing but really good things, as always. Appreciate it. All right, well, I'll go ahead and get going. I hope everybody's doing well. Good to see everybody. Ron, I haven't seen you in a while, so it's really good to catch up with you a little bit here. Every once in a while, I pass one of your Dodge pickups, but don't ever haven't got to say hey to you in a while. So good to see you, buddy. And again, like I said earlier, Deb, thanks again for helping out, um, last week. And wow, hey, Kyle, what's up, buddy? Good to see you on here tonight. Hope the family's doing well. Tell those boys I said hello. Um, and still need to get them over here to do a little uh, yard cleanup, fire kind of thing. I got a lot of limbs down, so we need to get the boys over, especially my fire master friend. Uh, anyway, I want to kind of get going tonight. I know over the last few weeks we have talked about a few things. This idea that I can't, God can. Then we talked about how often we limit ourselves, and we talked about um, the like our buts. I'd like to do that, but I can't. And then we kind of got into that, how we'll set ourselves up to do something, um, and then we make an excuse on why we can't do it. I want to go to the gym, but I'm tired. It's and obviously there's a lot bigger things than just going to the gym, although that's a good thing. But so we limit ourselves is kind of what we were getting at, and so we tell ourselves we can't do things, but we know God can, and then when we feel like we're moved to do something, we allow our insecurities to get in the way, so we don't follow through. So, what we're kind of getting at over the last few weeks, and we're going to push it a little further tonight, is, as followers of Christ, just like as people pursuing a recovered life, um, we have to admit we can't do it and God can. And then we've got to also admit that we get in the way. We acknowledge we want to grow and we want to pursue what God has for us, but I am scared, but I don't think I can, and the list is long. I mean, I make a multitude of excuses throughout the day on why I can't do something that I probably should be doing, or maybe not probably, maybe something that I know I should be doing, or why I come up with a reason not to do it. And it's always a but I don't feel like it, but it's cold outside, but I wanted to sleep in. I've got a bunch of excuses. Um, and I know we all do. And so, I kind of want to keep us pushing to get past some of these things. And um, I wanted to bring up something that really has kind of hit home for me uh, a good bit in the last, I don't know, let's say 2 months or so. And I think a lot of you guys know some of the stuff that's going on in my with my family, and some personal things that are going on, that it just um, there's kind of been a struggle, right? So I, I sometimes find myself going back to the Serenity Prayer, from AA and NA, the God grant me, that whole thing. And if you read down a few lines, they get kind of in the middle. There's something that I always kind of like to touch base with, and it is um, asking God to grant you the ability to live one day at a time, enjoying every one moment at a time. So, not daydreaming or looking backwards, living in the moment. And here's the line that I've been sort of wrestling with a lot the last few weeks, maybe months, is accepting hardships as the pathway to peace, taking as he did, as Jesus did, this sinful world as it is, not as I would like it to be. And that's tough. It's easy to say I can't, but God can. And it's easy to acknowledge I get in the way, but I know God can make a way. But a lot of times it's really difficult to come to terms with wanting to give things to God and surrendering things, all the while struggling when hardship comes our way. And I think the serenity prayer and this idea of wanting to be living a content life, I mean, that's the goal. But understanding that through the hardship, that's a pathway to peace. And, I guess over my lifetime, I've wanted to say that I live like that. But I really don't know that I do. It's very difficult. And I know over the last few months with my sister being sick and all that's going on with that, and a really good friend of mine struggling with, things out of his and his family's control, and just being a part of both of these things kind of simultaneously. It's hard. I mean, honestly, it sucks. But one thing that I have noticed somehow through these last few months is an underlying, and I don't even know if I would have defined it as peace, but maybe that's what it is. But just this underlying feeling of contentment or comfort, knowing that it's in God's hands. And that didn't happen overnight, guys. That is something, and I'll be honest, I've had moments, maybe longer than moments over the last few weeks, where I would just be angry and sad and scared all in the same moment. And, I've voiced that to God. And maybe that's what we're supposed to do is, maybe that's what he wants us to do, is share that with him. And when we give it to him, that's when we begin to feel this deep inner peace, this spiritual groundedness, this contentment, not with the crap that's going on, but a peaceful contentment knowing that God is in control. We want to have a life that is just without hardship, but it's not going to be like that. We're in a broken world, and it's just, that's just the way it is. So we have to come to terms with that and understand that I can't control any of it. I can't make my sister feel better. I can't make my friend be well. I can't make, all these other things that are going on in my life that I don't like. I can't fix them, but God is still in control. And I might not see what's happening, but God does. And I also know, and I think a lot of you guys know, that when we look backward sometimes, we see God's hand through a whole lot of stuff. And when we thought maybe he wasn't there, we can look back and see that he was right there, and that he orchestrated a lot of really yucky things into something very beautiful. And so I just want to challenge us, to keep pushing forward, acknowledging that we can't do it, but God can, and acknowledging that we mess ourselves up. The butt, my butt gets in the way. I'd like to do that. I'd like to trust God. I'd like to be able to handle these situations, but I can't. And I've got an excuse. So I want us to keep pushing forward in that, but also understand that when we acknowledge that we can't do it, but God can, that is not a formula to make everything perfect. It's actually probably right the opposite. It's a formula that helps us see everything broken and understand that we can't fix it. But God is in control. I don't know how this camera flips and stuff. You might be able to read the scripture that's right above my head, but it's been sort of the bedrock of so much in my life over the last 5-6 years. And the whole point of what Isaiah is saying is that God will take the broken and he will make it new. He doesn't say he will keep it from being broken. He doesn't say that it won't get banged up and thrown away and discarded and talked down upon and, treated poorly. It doesn't say that. He says he'll take that, sort of scoop it up, and he will breathe life into it and make it new and restore it and heal it. And through that process, we are renamed and we are repurposed and we are redirected and we are refocused. And that only happens when things get bumpy. Jesus clearly says that, the storm's going to come, but the one that calms the storm is right there beside us. So we strive for peace and we strive for this serenity and this, sort of everything's great life. But it's more than that. We can't just strive for it. We have to trust God that he is in control, and therefore things smooth out. And we are not at peace because of all the crap going on, and we're not overlooking all of the junk that is all around us. We are engaging in it because we know that God's hand is upon it and he is in control. So I love that. So accepting hardships as the pathway to peace. Each one of us listening and involved in this group has been through or is going through difficult times. That's just the nature of why we have come together. But it's through those difficult times, if we allow God to have control, an awful lot of peace will come. The buddy of mine that's struggling so much right now, I've had so many wonderful conversations with him, and the thing that I take away when I talk to him is how peaceful he is, and how at just this inner beautiful contentment and serenity that he is living in a scary and, for most people, a very dark time. He sees the light and the beauty and is living in the moment. And, he's taking what the world throws at him like Jesus did. And he's not coming up with, man, if God would just fix this. And I think that's what we're called to do. It's not, hey, if God would just fix this, I would be comfortable. I would feel good. It's, God might not fix it the way I want him to, but I'm still at peace because God is with me. God is alive in me and in you. So let's just keep going along. Let's understand we can't do it. God can. And we get in the way all the time. And through the hardship, if we allow, we will see God in a mighty, powerfully peaceful way. So let's move that way. Let's push. Let's keep going, guys. Pursuing Jesus, pursuing a life that is full of contentment and serenity, knowing that God's hand is on the situation and He is in control. And we can't do it, but He can. So guys, have a great week. Reach out if you need anything. Love you. Hope to see you guys tomorrow if you're out here in West Georgia. Have a good one. Love you, folks.